What if I told you that most people who struggle with boundaries aren't actually bad at setting them? They're just using a strategy that's guaranteed to fail? By the end of this video, you'll discover the one crucial difference between boundaries that crumble and boundaries that stick, and why 91% of people pleasers have been approaching this completely backwards. It's 9:15 p.m. on a Thursday night in Portland. The kitchen is a disaster zone of half-prepared dinner ingredients, and 30-year-old Rachel is standing at her island, phone pressed to her ear, listening to her sister Lauren complain about her latest relationship drama, while Rachel's own dinner grows cold on the counter. "And then he had the nerve to say I was being dramatic," Lauren continues, her voice rising. "Can you believe that? I need you to call him and tell him how wrong he is. You're so good with words, and he actually listens to you." Rachel closes her eyes, feeling the familiar weight of everyone else's problems settling on her shoulders like a heavy coat she never asked to wear. "I have a presentation tomorrow morning. I haven't eaten dinner. I've been listening to this same story about the same guy for 3 weeks. When did I become everyone's unpaid therapist?" But instead of saying any of this, Rachel hears herself responding, "Of course, Lauren, I can call him tomorrow. Don't worry about it." This is Rachel's life. She's the sister who drops everything to handle family crises. She's the friend who always says yes to last-minute plans, even when she's exhausted. She's the coworker who stays late to finish other people's projects because "you're just so much better at this than I am." Rachel has read every article about boundaries. She's listened to podcasts about saying no. She's even practiced scripts in her mirror. "I'm not available for that. That doesn't work for me. I need to think about it." But somehow, when the moment comes, those carefully rehearsed words evaporate, and she finds herself saying yes to things that drain her soul. After hanging up with Lauren, Rachel stares at her cold dinner and feels a familiar surge of resentment. Not at Lauren, but at herself. "Why can't I just say no?" she whispers to her empty kitchen. "What's wrong with me?" What Rachel doesn't know yet is that nothing is wrong with her. She's just been trying to build boundaries without understanding the foundation they need to stand on. The breaking point comes on a Saturday morning that starts with what should be a simple text message. Rachel is finally having a peaceful morning. Coffee, sunshine streaming through her windows, a book she's been trying to read for months, when her phone buzzes with a text from her co-worker Janet. "Emergency, client presentation moved to Monday. Can you come in today to help? I know it's your day off, but you're the only one who knows how to fix the graphics." Rachel stares at the message, her heart sinking. She has plans today, real plans that she's been looking forward to all week. She's meeting her friend Sam for lunch, then spending the afternoon at the art museum, then cooking dinner for herself while listening to music. It's the first Saturday in months that's entirely hers. She starts typing, "I'm really sorry, but I can't today. I have commitments." She stares at the message, her finger hovering over send. Her heart is racing like she's about to confess to a crime. She deletes it and types, "This is really last minute. I wish I could help, but I'm not available." Delete. "I have plans I can't cancel." Delete. "I understand this is urgent, but..." Delete. Finally, she types, "I'll be there in an hour," and hits send before she can change her mind again. "I'm pathetic," she thinks, getting dressed with hands that are actually shaking. "I can't even send one text message setting a boundary. What kind of person am I?" At the office, Rachel spends 6 hours fixing problems that aren't hers. Missing lunch with Sam, missing the museum, missing her entire day. Janet is grateful, but not surprised. This is what Rachel always does. That night, Rachel sits in her apartment feeling empty and angry. She calls Sam to apologize. "Rachel," Sam says gently, "can I ask you something? When was the last time you said no to someone?" "I say no all the time," Rachel protests automatically. "Really? When?" Rachel opens her mouth to answer and realizes she can't think of a single example from the past month, maybe the past year. "That's what I thought," Sam says. "Rachel, you're one of the kindest people I know, but you're disappearing. Every time we talk, you're stressed about something someone else has asked you to do. When do you ever do things just because you want to?" That question haunts Rachel for days. When do you ever do things just because you want to? She realizes the answer is almost never. Her life has become a series of other people's requests that she automatically fulfills. But the real breakthrough comes when Rachel finally decides to see a therapist. "Tell me about growing up in your family," Dr. Martinez says during their second session. "It was fine," Rachel says automatically. "Normal. My parents worked a lot, so I took care of my younger sister. I was the responsible one." How old were you when you started taking care of Lauren? I don't know, maybe 8, 9? Lauren was always more emotional, dramatic. My parents said I was mature for my age. Dr. Martinez nods. And what happened when you had needs? When you wanted attention or help? Rachel pauses, an uncomfortable memory surfacing. I remember being sick once, maybe 10 years old, and asking my mom to make me soup. She said she was too busy with Lauren, who was having a meltdown about something, and told me I was old enough to take care of myself. How did that make you feel? Proud, I guess? That she trusted me to handle it? And now? How does that story feel to you now? Sad, Rachel whispers, surprising herself. Really sad. I was just a kid who wanted her mom to take care of her when she was sick. The revelation comes 3 weeks later during a session where Dr. Martinez asks Rachel to try a simple exercise. I want you to close your eyes, Dr. Martinez says, and imagine saying no to someone's request. Really visualize it. What comes up? Rachel closes her eyes and immediately feels anxiety flooding her system. They'll be disappointed in me. They'll think I'm selfish. They'll stop needing me, and then they'll leave. And if they leave, then I'll be alone. And being alone means that I'm not worth loving unless I'm useful. The words hang in the air like a truth that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. Rachel, Dr. Martinez says gently, you learned very early that your value came from what you could do for others, not from who you were. Every time you set a boundary, that scared little girl inside you thinks you're risking abandonment. Rachel starts crying, not the polite tears she's used to, but deep, shaking sobs that feel like they're coming from somewhere she'd forgotten existed. But here's what that little girl doesn't know, Dr. Martinez continues. People who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. The people who get angry when you say no aren't angry because they need you. They're angry because they can't use you. That night, Rachel sits with this new understanding, feeling like she's seeing her entire life through different glasses. Every boundary she'd failed to set wasn't a personal weakness. It was a child's survival strategy that had outlived its usefulness. The test comes the following week when Lauren calls with another crisis. Rachel, I need you to drive me to Mom's house and help me deal with this whole thing with Dad's birthday. I can't handle it alone, and you know how Mom gets when I try to plan anything. Rachel takes a deep breath, feeling her nervous system activate with the familiar fight-or-flight response. But this time, instead of pushing through it, she acknowledges it. This is scary, she tells herself. And that's okay. I'm not in danger. I'm just feeling what I feel when I prioritize my own needs. Lauren, I love you, and I understand this is stressful. I'm not available to drive you there, but I'm happy to help you brainstorm other solutions. The silence on the other end of the phone feels eternal. Are you serious right now? Lauren finally says. I really need you. I know you do, and I'm sure you'll figure it out. Fine. I guess I'll just handle it myself like I always do. The old Rachel would have crumbled at that guilt trip. The new Rachel recognizes it for what it is. Manipulation designed to make her abandon her boundary. I believe in your ability to handle this, Lauren. I love you. After she hangs up, Rachel sits in the quiet of her apartment, waiting for the guilt and panic she's so used to feeling. Instead, she feels something she barely recognizes: pride. 6 months later, Rachel's life looks completely different. Not because she's become mean or selfish, but because she's learned the difference between being kind and being available for everything. She still helps people, but now she helps because she chooses to, not because she's afraid of what will happen if she doesn't. Lauren was initially angry about Rachel's new boundaries, but eventually began to respect them. More importantly, Lauren started solving her own problems instead of automatically turning to Rachel. Here's what Rachel discovered that changed everything. Boundaries aren't about finding the right words to say no. They're about healing the wound that makes saying no feel dangerous in the first place. Most people think boundary setting is a communication problem. It's not. It's a self-worth problem. When you truly believe that your time, energy, and peace of mind have value, protecting them stops feeling selfish and starts feeling necessary. The reason most boundaries fail isn't because we don't know how to say no. It's because we don't believe we have the right to say no. We're trying to build walls on a foundation of quicksand. If you recognized yourself in Rachel's story, if you're tired of feeling resentful about all the things you've said yes to, if you're exhausted from being everyone's go-to person, if you've practiced boundary scripts but still find yourself agreeing to things you don't want to do, you're not weak. You're not broken. You're just working with outdated programming. Hit that subscribe button right now, because in our next video, we're diving deep into the guilt that comes after setting boundaries, and why feeling bad about saying no doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It means you're healing. Here's what I want you to try this week. The next time someone makes a request of your time or energy, pause before answering, even if it's just for 3 seconds. Notice what comes up in your body. Are you afraid? Guilty? Panicked? That's information, not instruction. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the hardest boundary you need to set but haven't been able to? Remember, the people who truly care about you want you to have boundaries because they want you to be happy and healthy. Here's the truth that will set you free. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You are not required to sacrifice your well-being to make others comfortable. And you are worthy of love and respect even when you're not useful to someone. Boundaries aren't walls that keep people out. They're gates that let the right people in. The people who respect your limits, celebrate your growth, and love you for who you are, not just what you can do for them. Rachel learned that setting boundaries didn't make her selfish. It made her honest. It didn't make her mean. It made her real. And it didn't cost her the relationships that mattered. It revealed which relationships actually mattered in the first place. Your boundaries are not suggestions. They are not negotiations. They are statements of your values, and you have every right to enforce them. The people who love you want you to have boundaries. Everyone else is just showing you who they really are.